As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival. This emblem on the plate and the victim's burn. I don't know how you say that in the answer. Are exactly the same shape. Ah! Ryunosuke, you genius. You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant. I'm popping my peas, I'm so sorry. But even if that's the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. Yes, we can, Ouchie. I fucking hate this line of questioning. It could have been the day before, or the day before that. It most likely happened some other unrelated time. Well, sadly, Prosecutor Ouchie, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly. But... I would say, looking at the picture of this wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago, and although it's not particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. A winced in pain? I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I have not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter! That's besides the point. Yes! There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on the piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. Or wince in pain, but there's no question of that. And yet, Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream, not on that day or any before it. That's right, and the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel. Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, not this face, all of us without question, have heard him. Wouldn't you agree, Professor Ouchie? Well, I suppose. So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. Ryunosuke, do you mean? Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson was already dead. Yeah! Was asleep. There ain't no fucking way you're gonna sleep through a 3rd-degree burn. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible, apart from one particular situation. Counsel, Are you suggesting? Yes, it's only possible. If the man was already dead. Already? Dead? Oh, look at her. She's not happy about this. Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. Firm! Nice, Rinosuke! When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead. That's madness! Yow! God damn it! Sorry. Order, please! Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once! The victim was killed by a gunshot! That's right! That's absolutely right, Your Excellency! This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the facts! No, Prosecutor, it is you who has no grasp of the facts. I beg your pardon! As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have it not grasped you yet? Or have you not grasped that yet? Have it not grasped you yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe, that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Oh my god, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement. Yeah, let's go. But, Your Excellency, the justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency. Aww, that's from Brazil, Brit. What now? Oh, she's just smiling. Okay. What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. This bitch. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours. She speaks Japanese! Miss Brett, you! Nihongo! Hanasemasu? Hanasemasu ka? Sorry, it should have posted as a question. Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country after all. But then, why haven't you been speaking through an interpreter up until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. I have now activated my racist card. But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see I shall now have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level. Well, you are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us. Man, you're being racisted at, ouchie. Come on. I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson. This bitch, I want to slap her. So we're finally going to hear her own words in the matter. Things are getting interesting, Rinosuke. Tell me about it, partner. Yeehaw! Yeah, sorry, I don't have the womanly charm voice. I'm trying my best though. Unfortunately, I have no idea where the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in a toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. What a bitch! I hate her! That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in Supreme Court's history. Thank you. Easy does it. I hope that this is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue. Forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. Not at all, not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, my dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant. I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today. The Minister of Justice? May that irritating little bully of a student may be given the harshest punishment possible. Amen. What the fuck? Huh? Thanks. Was that a prayer, then? Well, you have to forgive my irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with the cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much. I'm sure I don't need to remind you, counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. Ha! Joke's on you. It's not. We're gonna be here for another hour. God, this fucking case drags. I'll be ruling on the case immediately if you don't find shit. Is that clear? Slap, slap, slap! Ow. Sorry. I wasn't ready. I just slapped myself. Yes, Your Excellency. Then you may proceed with the cross-examination. Yes. Inferior? What do you mean by that? In the lands of Great British Empire, the police store everything found at the crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once, and that's the end of it. Isn't that so? Quite right. La Carnival is open for business as usual. Wow, no fucking shot. The man just died. His blood matter should be there. Exactly. Oh, shit, fuck. That scared me. Hosonaga! Which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, what difference does it make? It doesn't even occur to your naive detectives to try to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as you can, you understand? You're really not. You're being just racist off the... Ha! A killer blow! The lady is a formidable... I did not read the rest of that. He's actually admitting that our police may be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Ouchie is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't seem quite right. Yeah, Hosonaga scared the shit out of me. He just started dying. What do you think, Ryunosuke? I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected, she's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be a clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. A chink? Is that the word? Like a clink in her armor? A chip in her armor? What, Ryunosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her, Inspector Hosonaga. The detective? Yes, he seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If it might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time, instead of targeting the woman herself, a burp is coming. Hang on. Excuse me. Let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then. I wonder what Kazuma's thinking. I'll find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again.